and welcome back to my kitchen. Hey, I've got some beautiful strawberries that I am going to be making into strawberry jam today, and so I thought this was the perfect opportunity to walk you through how I make my strawberry jam. Now, I make a lot of fruit jams this way. Berries like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, even rhubarb are all pretty high in natural pectin. And so I make my jam without any additional added pectin at all. So I don't go and get the Pomona's pectin. I don't go and get any Sure Gel for this. There's just enough natural pectin in the berries that all I have to do is add sugar and cook it, and we have beautiful jam. So I have already started by preparing my strawberries today. I washed them up, and then I just took the green tops off of them. Now, I don't even cut my strawberries up at all, okay? Because with jam, it's fruit pieces, just kind of all mashed fruit pieces in any kind of jam. And so the strawberries, I don't even take the time or the effort to slice them or anything. I just wash them up, take the green tops off, and I put them all into my pan. And then I take a handy-dandy little potato masher, and I literally just mash them up with my potato masher. So you can see that even at this point in time, hopefully you can see this, I still have some pretty large pieces of berry in here. But measure your fruit, and any type of fruit, what you need is 1 cup of fruit to 1 cup of sugar. Now you can scant that down to about a ½ cup, and you're still going to get a pretty good firm set, but don't cut it back any further than that, 1 cup of fruit to 1/2 cup of sugar. And I do really suggest using the full amount of sugar. It does help your jams and gels set. But today what I have, a regular size batch would technically be 4 cups of fruit to 4 cups of sugar. Today I'm estimating that I have about 6, maybe 8 cups of strawberries, and I've put in about 5 cups of sugar to this entire batch, and I am just kind of guesstimating. And this is the wonderful thing about making jam also, is that you don't necessarily have to have that perfect measurement. If you only have a few berries, let's say you only have 2 cups of strawberries, you can make jam with those 2 cups of strawberries. Just add your 2 cups or maybe 1 cup of sugar if you wanted to cut back a little bit on that. And you can make a small batch. If you want to make a larger batch, as long as you have a very large pot so that you're not going to be experiencing any boil over issues, you can do a larger batch also. Well, so anyway, so I've gotten my berries kind of mashed up, and then I added my sugar, and I just kind of allowed them to sit with that sugar. And what that does, it's called macerating. And that sugar kind of draws the strawberry juice or any type of berry that you're using, whether it be blueberries or blackberries, raspberries, whatever. Once you add that sugar, just allow it to sit at room temperature with your fruit, because what that does is it kind of draws some of that natural moisture from the fruit itself. And then we're going to go ahead and cook it after that. So I allowed mine to macerate for about an hour, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. I haven't really been timing it. But you can see that it's just nice and juicy now from sitting the fruit and the sugar being together. And it's just kind of made a really nice natural juice. I guess I'll aim it down just a little bit more here so you can see better. So at this time then, with my strawberry, I always do like to I try to preserve the beautiful red color. Now, when you're cooking strawberries, a lot of times they'll kind of lose their color, and they even have the tendency to turn a little bit on the brown side. And so when I'm making strawberry, blueberry, you're not going to notice any color loss. Blackberry, you're not going to notice color loss. Probably with your raspberries and your strawberries, kind of your pretty red, you will probably want to add a little bit of lemon juice like what I do. And I generally add for every 4 cups of fruit that I add about a teaspoon of lemon juice. So I'm going to just estimate that I have 7 or 8 cups here today. So I'm just going to put in about 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. And what that's going to do is that's just going to help preserve that beautiful red color of our fruit. Now, I'm going to, after I cook this today, I'm going to be doing a method of canning called open kettle canning. And this is how I can all of my jams and jellies. I also do my pickles this way, and I do lard this way. Open kettle canning is a method that is technically can only be used with a short list of acceptable items. That would be jams and jellies that are extremely high in sugar, vinegar pickles, which has an extremely high amount of vinegar in it, and lard is safe to do too. Now, some people I know do open kettle can their fruit juices. I personally hot water bath them. And other people choose to open kettle their tomatoes, just plain tomatoes. They cook them down, get them really, really good and cooked and hot, and they open kettle them too. But I tend to just feel better processing my tomatoes in a hot water bath also. But today, I'm going to walk you through the method of open kettle canning. And what that requires is it requires one of those food ingredients that I have set, either high in vinegar or high in sugar, because that really is sugar is preservative. Vinegar is also a preservative. It just makes it so that bacteria and stuff cannot grow in your final food product. So we need a really hot, boiling hot food item. We need hot sanitized jars. Now it's really important to sanitize your jar. Unlike when you're processing in a hot water bath or in a PC, the jar itself gets sanitized during the first 10 minutes of the process time. We're not going to be processing these, so we really need a sanitized hot jar. And then I also heat my lids and my rings, okay? So for now, I just have my, I'm going to call it 8 cups of strawberries and about, 5 or 6 cups of sugar. And a couple of teaspoons of lemon juice in my pot. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to boil this and watch it really, really well, stirring occasionally to make sure that it doesn't boil over or it doesn't burn. And I'm going to boil this until it reaches 220 degrees or until we can see kind of a sheeting action off of the back side of our spoon. But I really swear by using a candy thermometer, and I'll get it out and get it clipped onto my pan even before I start so that there is no like shock to the glass. And I just go ahead and I clip my candy thermometer right onto my pan before I start cooking. And we're just going to cook this until it reaches 220 degrees. And you will see right on your candy thermometer, on the back of your candy thermometer, there's usually a graph or a chart that tells you what temperature to boil certain things to. And jams and jellies are 220 degrees. So, no pectin at all in here except the natural pectin that's in the strawberries. I'm just going to get this over, I'd say medium heat. We're going to boil this until 220 degrees. We're going to have our hot sanitized jars, lids, and rings. And I will be back when this is ready to go into our jars. All right, guys, I just wanted to come back and show you how much this stuff boils up. So I just want to remind you to be very, very attentive to your pan. Don't walk away from your stove because you will probably have boil over issues and a big mess to clean up. So make sure to be watching any of the jams or jellies that you're making so that it doesn't boil over out of the pot. So I am just at this point in time, I am around 210 degrees. So I'm just going to continue boiling and stirring this until I reach that 220 mark, and then I'll come back and we'll get it into our jars. All right, guys, I'm going to let you in on another little trick here. And what that is that you can actually just take just a little pat, about 1 tablespoon of real butter, and put that into any of your jams and jellies, and that will actually help to reduce the foaming that occurs, and then you won't have to skim off quite as much foam also. And you don't taste it, it doesn't affect anything, but it really does help to reduce the foaming. I'm getting pretty close here. I'm up to 215 degrees, so I am just going to boil a little bit longer to reach that 220 mark, and we will be ready to fill jars. Alright guys, so I'm back. I had reached my 220 degrees. Yeah, you can see, right? And you can see how much this has reduced down. Now when you're cooking a jam or a jelly, actually in reality what you're doing is you're kind of reconstructing the pectin that gets deconstructed during the cooking process. But the sugar kind of helps to reconstruct it and restack it. And you're also evaporating a lot of the excess water off into the air. And so that's why it's really crucial to get it to 220 degrees in order to have that evaporation process get completely done. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn my burner off. And as you can see, since I added my butter, I really don't even have any foam that needs to be skimmed off the top here. But this would be the point where if you have foam on the top, you can just gently take your spoon and kind of scrape the foam off the top and put it into a dish along the side of your stove. But this really just has no foam on it at all. So, while this is good and hot, we are just going to get seriously lickety-split to work, and we're going to get these into the jars. So, like I said, we have a hot sanitized jar. We have hot sanitized lids and rings, and it's really crucial to keep everything very hot when you're open kettle canning. So, I'm just going to go ahead and grab a hot sanitized jar out of my canner, quickly get my funnel on top of there, and get my jar filled to 1/2 inch headspace. And you can do this in pints or half pints. Honestly, if you wanted to, you could even do it in a quart-sized jar. It's just up to you and your family size and how much you think you're going to be using, within a week or two after opening your jar. Now, yes, these will be shelf stable. Take that hot lid and ring and get that right onto your jar. You're only working one jar at a time. I'm sorry I have you tipped up here. One jar at a time, and I want you to screw that on a little tighter than our normal fingertip tight, okay? Because these jars, we're not processing them. Got to get some of my stuff out of the way here. We're not processing them in a hot water bath or a pressure canner. This is all the process that's going to happen here. And so they will seal as they cool, but the jars themselves are not boiling inside, and so they're not going to vent. So screw those lids on a little bit firmer than what you normally do. All right, going to grab another one here. And quickly get that filled. With our screaming hot jam to about 1/2 inch headspace. Wipe your rim just like always to make sure that you don't have any sticky stuff or food on there. And grab yourself a hot lid and ring and get that right onto the jar and screw it on firmly. Set it aside. It will seal as it cools. And just continue working one jar at a time. And for this particular project, you want to work as quickly as possible because you really do want everything to remain nice and hot. Now, since there's so much sugar in jams and jellies, they are perfectly safe to open kettle can, like what I am doing here. Hot lid and ring. Done. can definitely see what I'm doing there. All right, I do have a couple of pint-sized jars here, just to show you that yes, you can do it in a pint-sized jar. Up to that same half-inch headspace. Ouch, just burnt myself, guys. And a hot lid and ring. Screwed on firmly. All right, guys, we're down to, I think, what will be our last jar of jam. All right, I didn't get quite a full pint on that one, which is absolutely fine with me, because that means this gets to go into the refrigerator and we get to enjoy it. All righty, we are done. Beautiful, beautiful jam. Get you tilted up here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to allow these to cool and seal. But after they are cooled and sealed, I will probably come back and open this one that I didn't have enough to really fill the jar. You can see I have too much headspace in this one. So I'm going to put this one, after it cools and seals, I'll just use this up within the next week or two. But we'll probably come back and I will show you what the set consistency is of this beautiful, no added pectin strawberry jam is. So we'll see you tomorrow for the results. All right, guys, so it is the next morning and I just want to show you I have 100% lid seals, absolutely no problems at all. I am using my Superb canning lids. I do love these. I also like the 4 jars lids also, but I just want you to see that open kettle canning, if done correctly, seals these really, really well. So I've got this one jar. Actually, I'll just hold this up so that you can see how absolutely beautiful the color is, and that is thank you to that lemon juice that we put in there to preserve the flavor, or the color, excuse me. And you cannot taste the lemon juice. There's so much strawberry and sugar and stuff going on in your jam. You won't taste the lemon juice at all, and it's just a very small amount of lemon juice that you use to preserve the beautiful red color. But anyway, so I've got that one jar that I didn't have enough to completely fill it. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up so that you can see this beautiful, beautiful jam. No pectin added, guys. Just wonderful. Full of chunks of fruit and set really well for spreading. Got a piece of toast here. I'm just going to go ahead and put some of that jam on there. You guys, it does not get any better than this. Seriously, homemade jam is just amazing. And like I said, no additional pectin needed. Make sure to cook your jams and jellies, whether you're using an added pectin or not. Make sure to boil them to 220 degrees, and you're going to have an amazing set. Look at how gorgeous that is. All right. And I do want to share with you that as far as that boiling period is concerned, now with that double batch that I did, I actually had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did end up having I estimated that I had 7 cups of fruit. So I came out with 4 half pints, an additional full pint, and then an almost full other pint. But with that double recipe that I did, I just want you to be aware that it took me literally over 30 minutes of cooking, okay? Once I brought my strawberries and my sugar to a boil, it boiled for over 20 minutes before I actually reached that 220-degree mark on the candy thermometer. So no, this is not a quick method at all. But even when you are doing recipes with added pectin, like if you use your Sure Gel or your Pomonas or whatever, if you boil it longer and reach that 220-degree mark, you guys, you're going to have absolutely beautiful sets all the time. I don't care what the directions on the package tell you. Most jams and jellies need to be boiled a lot longer than that 1 or 2 minutes after you add that magic pectin. And you can oftentimes do it without added pectin at all because a lot of your berries particularly have plenty of pectin. Another one that I do without any added pectin would be like crabapple jelly. That sets up good. Wild grape jelly, that sets up good. Cranberry jelly. That really, technically, it needs no additional pectin at all. You just boil it to that 220 and you're going to have a great jam or jelly. So I'm just going to go ahead and enjoy literally the fruits of my labor and that long boiling period and take a taste of this beautiful strawberry jam. Oh, so good. This is a good thing, guys. Yummy. Alright, I'll finish my mouthful here. I just want to say thank you once again for spending your time with me. God bless you all, and happy candying, everybody.